This year, Shea'S celebrates 95 years, but did you know this theatre almost didn't make it?
They want to make it into a parking lot. The wrecking crew was here 3 times, and very interested people who did not want to see that happen banded together, call themselves the Friends of Shea'S Buffalo, got it registered to the National Historic Site.
It rose from almost being dead, with the wrecking ball being almost coming into the building. Went through some very dark times in the 60s and 70s, but then some very smart Buffalonians got together and said, let's make this happen.
Restoration and now preservation continues with the army of volunteers who support the Shea'S O'Connell Preservation Guild.
So that, I think, is a lasting legacy for these volunteers.
But let's go back to the beginning.
It was opened in 1926, January. That's why we're having our 95th anniversary this coming Saturday. And it did very, very well for a number of years. Even during the Depression, it was still functioning very well. And even though things were a bit slower during World War II, they still had some big name entertainers coming here to raise money for the troops. And then towards the late 40s, when all those GIs came back, things started to deteriorate. And it was becoming rather shabby looking. A gentleman by the name of Leon Seidel, he bought it in 1962. He got it for $400,000. Unfortunately, after a little bit of success, he went bankrupt, at which time the city took over the building because of non-payment of property taxes. And they planned to tear it down.
It's very exciting to see that a building survived so much through the decades and is still here 95 years later.
Stunning on the surface, but not everything at Shea'S is on show. Are there any secret walls or hidey holes?
We do have one getaway spot. Michael's office used to be in the front of the building, and if he had a pesky producer who wanted to peddle some of his acts, there's 122 steps to go upstairs. So he would go into a hole that had an access door to a wall-mounted ladder that came to a landing, and he would come up right at the lounge over there.
And not all the drama sticks to the stage.
We also have an interesting painting here, which is not part of the original. She's called Mignon, meaning the pretty one. It was done by a French painter in the 1890s. And it was brought in by a gentleman who had to borrow some money and asked Michael if he'd have $2,500 and he would leave the painting as collateral. And because she's still hanging there, he obviously never repaid the whole loan.
One of only 4 Tiffany Design Theatres still standing, it is hard to imagine Buffalo without Shea'S. Lucky the Wrecking Balls never did make it in for a show.
I'm looking forward to 5 years from now when we're celebrating the 100th, and we've learned so much in the past 100 years. What are we going to take from that time and create with Shea'S and with the arts in Western New York? There's so much greatness that's going to come out of this, but the fact that we're still here, we're still standing, and there were very dedicated people who said Shea'S must remain, Shea'S must be restored, and that they're still supporting that, and it's so important to their lives. It says so much about the human spirit.